From the screen to the airways, welcome back, all of my American beauties, to a brand new conversation right here on the People's Princess Podcast, the place that provides intimate and intentional conversations, surely to make you feel like royalty. I am your host, the head princess in charge, the People's Princess, Amaya Kai, and I would just like to say, welcome back to the palace. I am eternally grateful that we are almost close to episode 10. I can't believe it. We've started in late December and now we're here in March. It's about to be, I want to say, 3 months? I don't know, y'all, but we not going to talk about that. I would just like to, of course, give thanks to my Lord and Savior for using me in these moments, because without him, I am nothing. Without his guidance, without his love, without his grace, without his goodness, without him being just, I am nothing. I would have not been in this place where I am right now. And although I have seen myself fall, I'm still grateful for him keeping me and allowing me to be the voice of people that look like me, talk like me, and also are college students. For those who are newcomers, I am a college student at Fort Valley State University as a freshman biology major with a concentration in health sciences. And I wanted to create this space for the reason being that, we don't see these spaces that address the real things that everybody is facing. And so I wanted to start implementing that more. With that being said, I will be creating a brand new forum for you guys to not only just suggest topics to me, but just kind of educate me before I even talk about the topic, because it's important that with me as a host, I learn from my viewers and also from God as he is giving me these visions and these words to speak to you all. So yes, I am very excited to see the suggestions for what you all have for me, and I cannot wait to share with you all the things that I have in store, because God is amazing. He is working, and although setbacks were setbacking before I got home for spring break, I have faith and I am expectant that God is about to do a miracle through me these next couple weeks, and I put it in the atmosphere, and I will look back at this episode and say, wow, God, I thank you. But today's conversation will be stemming from a suggestion that my friend Kiara gave to me, but also experiences that myself and a couple other of my friends have faced recently. As I always say, with great influence, there must come a greater responsibility. And I'm seeing myself in a position where I'm talking from a perspective that is personal, yes. But I am making sure that it applies, because we don't know what anybody is going through. We don't know if anybody is feeling alone, feeling depressed, feeling they don't have a purpose in earth. That's why I'm doing this. And today's conversation is entitled this: Tailor-Making the Missing Rooms. As I sit here and tell you all this title for today's conversation, I not only had to ensure that, as this is my friend's vision, I want to implement the way that I deliver these things to you all, because everybody knows that I love to do things above and beyond for what I normally give, because I am setting a new standard, and that is what I intend to do until the day I'm called home. And this is occurring more often than it should, and I don't wish this on anybody. Recently, I have been made aware that many of the spaces that myself and other friends of mine have been in possesses qualities that are unfortunately lacking true support, whether if it's on a spiritual, mental, or physical standpoint. When I say this, I mean that we have been struggling to the point where we have had thoughts to bow out gracefully because the people who we believed were there to support us have suddenly turned into ghosts and just went gone with the wind. In the words of Jennifer Hudson, where you at? And I say that because I've recently find myself crying out to God, saying, God, why do I find myself, with the situation where I always end up alone? Because we always hear we're not supposed to do life alone. We're supposed to have friends, but where are those people, God, that are going to not judge me, that don't talk about me, that don't try to act in my face like we cool when we really not? You see, many people, including myself, tend to network out of our comfort zones to indulge in new things and see who we are, and also share the qualities that we were blessed with. But I have been noticing that my discernment has been so off. I always knew that I was never really good at it. Yet, it's been like these past couple of days, I've seen myself starting to realize that I have to ask God, am I really supposed to be here? Am I really supposed to network the way that I do? Because I don't know if it's just me, but it's like no matter how hard I try, there are people who are just going to try and reject you for no good reason at all. I'm sorry if my presence irritates your demons. I'm sorry if you don't like me because I'm from another state. I'm sorry you don't like me because I can go above and beyond. But I don't know. And I wanted to be really honest with you guys. My discernment, in a sense, has been off because I give people the benefit of the doubt. Let me just say this right here. I give people the benefit of the doubt because I've always seen myself as a sweet individual. I always love to see the good in everybody. I want to see everybody doing good, even if they hurt me, man. But I haven't been able to grab a hold to this concept yet. But I feel like God is introducing me to a new thing. And it's creating the spaces that are meant to not only elevate myself and the people that are meant to be there, but to clean sweep the old habits that were once in those rooms that I was previously in. In terms of clean sweeping, it's basically entailing how I need to let God be God and remove the necessities that are disguised as good, but are abusing the spaces that are, of course, meant to serve everyone, but have been turned around for a non-intentional use, so to speak. Of course, for you guys, I am a Christian, and I always have to make sure that as I am saying things, I need to back it up with a word. So the word that fell upon my spirit was Matthew 21. And a lot of us may not know this, but this chapter really exposed how Jesus really takes things, because of course I saw Jesus as this man who came down to earth, who was perfect, who had tears like us, who walked like us, who moved like us, who serves in a magnificent way that allowed people to come to him and find the solace that they've been looking for. Yet, God has feelings. In the sense of feelings that he is a just God. He's not going to let, certain things happen just because people just think it's high and mighty. No. And as we see here, let me paint the picture for you. Jesus is walking around, and all of a sudden, he begins to notice that the temple that he created originally for a house of prayer had turned into a marketplace. Now, when we think about it, let's go look up the definition of a multi-purpose room, right? When we hear multi-purpose room, pretty much, we tend to think about those rooms that are used for many different purposes, such as meetings, baby showers, birthday parties, repast for the funeral, whatever it may be. Yet, what we don't realize is that when God ordains a purpose to a certain room, he doesn't want everything to be done in that room because he doesn't want everybody to be placed in those rooms who can potentially destroy it. So I'm going to read Matthew 21, verses 12 through 16. And it says this: Jesus entered the temple and began to drive out all the people buying and selling animals for sacrifice. He knocked over the tables of the money changers and the chairs of those selling doves. He said to them, "The scriptures declare, 'My temple will be called a house of prayer,' but you have turned it into a den of thieves." The blind and the lame came to him in the temple, and he healed them. The leading priests and the teachers of the religious law saw these wonderful miracles and heard even the children in the temple shouting, "Praise God for the Son of David." But the leaders were indignant. They asked Jesus, "Do you hear what these children are saying?" "Yes," Jesus replied. "Haven't you read the scripture? For they say, 'You have taught children and infants to give you praise.'" So when we look in this, not only does it show how Jesus is just for the feelings that he displayed in this moment, but I was able to draw this. God does not want us to be placed in these multi-purpose rooms because not every one of his people is meant to carry out everything that the world asks of us. As God instills a purpose for each of us, he does not apply the same purpose. And what I mean by that is God can give someone one skill, but God is going to give you a skill that will apply to your purpose and your purpose only. And if you dare operate in not only just a spirit, but in a place that does not line up with the purpose that God has for you, then he will allow you to see that you are not meant to be there, because you can't operate from an empty cup that God did not give to you. Hence why the statement, "Jack of all trades, master of none," applies, because you can offer all of the things someone is looking for on paper, which is great. However, how would you look in person? Because God calls select few individuals, as I said previously, that are called to operate in the realm of which they are called to move as such in. Hence why not everyone can be a pastor. Not everyone can pray over people. Not everyone could cook food. I'm just saying this all to say that we have to start realizing that we are meant for different things, but, and I'm speaking to somebody in this spot right here, right? Even if those rooms that you stepped in are not meant for you, you might be called to create a space that is totally different from what you've envisioned and what God has for you. And I remember telling my friend this recently before I came back home for spring break. I remember telling her, start praying over those rooms, right? Because, of course, in the word it says, if anything you ask for to God, if it applies to his will, he surely will answer it, right? But we have to start sowing seeds in order to watch it reap in the way that we wish. So I told her these steps, and of course, I would not be me if I did not tell y'all what I told her. The first thing that I told her to do was to pray over those rooms. Now, when it comes to prayer, you don't have to, be fancy with it. You could just talk to God. Like how I'm talking to y'all right now. God wants y'all to talk to him like that. Be like, hey, God, it's me again. Listen, these rooms that I've been in have not been treating me right. I pray over, the rooms that you are calling me to create, the spaces that you are calling me to step into that are of you and that I am going to make an impact in. And next thing you need to do is start praying over your dreams and start writing those dreams down. And if you have not read Hebrews chapter 11, do that and start applying that. And also read that every day because it talks about faith. And when it comes to faith, we just can't have that faith that we can say, oh, I believe in God, but I don't know. Like, there's certain levels of faith that we have to have. And of course, we can have faith as small as a mustard seed. It just takes us a minute to apply it and say, okay, God, I trust you. Although my world may be cracking, my world may seem like I'm going through a whirlpool of problems, I trust you. And when you look at those dreams and you start praying over those rooms and you start seeing it in your mind, write those dreams down. Write down what did you see? Write down who was there. Write down what was in it. And most importantly, start looking at spaces and pray over it, because I don't know. Let me use real estate, for example. Y'all know I'm going to use a whole bunch of examples, but I got a reason. When it comes to real estate, right, we tend to look at certain places. And, of course, we're going to see the thing that says for sale, and we're going to try and grab it. But what we need to realize is that when it comes to God's real estate, he secures the rooms that we're supposed to be in just for us. Crazy thing is, you all know when it says sold to whatever name, God does that. He takes those rooms and he saves it for us. And he says sold to whatever your name is. And you got to start declaring it and say, this room or this house or this space is mine with my name on it. And once you start doing that, and crazy thing is, when God drops a place in your mind, start visiting that place. Ask the realtor, ask the person over the unit, say, hey, can I get the keys? Y'all, I don't know nothing about real estate. I just watch a lot of HGTV, but I'm making a point. And the point is you have to start making those rooms the way that God intends, but also you have to collaborate with him. Because crazy thing is, the funniest thing to God is if you tell him your plans. It's true, because if there's no foundation in God in what you're doing, then it's doomed to fail. And I've seen myself do that because sometimes I don't pray over certain things and it don't come out how I want because I simply did not pray. I simply did not come to God and say, I am in expectance that this is going to work. And the crazy thing is, when I say it like that, a lot of Christians, they be like, what you talking about? You sound real delusional. But at the same time, God be wanting us to be delusional. You know what I mean? Because he wants to see how your faith is going to move in those situations that may not look the greatest. And you know God is going to come through at the craziest time. And going back to what faith means, it has a lot of different definitions. But if we go back to Hebrews 11, as I said previously, it's saying faith shows the reality of what we hope for. It is the evidence of things we cannot see. Meaning that if you and God know between you that you can achieve that and that it's yours in his name, then it will simply be yours. But you can't be telling everybody that. That's why I started seeing myself not tell everybody the things that I'm doing, because there's going to be people who going to try and get in my faith and be like, well, I don't think that's going to be for you because, you know, this person's going to do this. This person is doing this. Yeah, I've been told not to underestimate, but don't underestimate me either. And I've always had people underestimate me because I'm the type of person where they don't expect me to deliver the way that I do. Because contrary to popular belief, I don't talk. I'm normally to myself because I've seen so many people hurt me. I've seen so many people just tell me that you can't do that just because of certain things. But being honest, ever since I've got to college, I'm freshman class secretary. I am, I believe, one of the first in my school right now to be making a podcast in my grade level. And most importantly, doing all that I can because God has blessed me with talents that are going to align to the purpose that are divinely aligned to me. Because as we know, God gives, he sure can take it away. And I'm not going to let him take away what he gave to me all because of what somebody else said or my disbelief. That's crazy. And although I've had my moments at school where I cried and I was like, man, this is hard. I might not get it done. This might not come out the way that I thought. But I'm telling myself this as a love letter, and I hope somebody is listening when I say this. You are meant to be in those spaces. You are meant to create those spaces. You are meant to create the spaces that are going to innovate something in a people and raise up somebody who needed that. Because I am making the rooms that the me that I first came to Fort Valley State University was wishing to see. Because sometimes it's hard. It's hard seeing yourself in a space that might not deserve you. But in those spaces that don't deserve you lies a space that deserves all of you. That deserves all of your talent, all of your time, all of your gifts, all of your prayers, and most importantly, all of God. Because without him and the ordination that says, I give you this, let me see what you can do with it. It just comes to show that when we exercise that crazy faith that is talked about in Hebrews 11, and we let God's feelings drive us, because his ways are higher than our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. His ways is not our ways, but we have to trust him. And I've been in that season where I'm in that process of trusting God, even though it might be so many tears. I'm still going to produce something that is going to be out this world. Y'all going to look at me next time. If you ever see me in person, you're going to be like, how did you do that? I didn't. God did. Because he instilled a level of faith in me in those darkest hours that I've been in. As I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, as I was praying in the midnight hour, and was talking to God and was reading those scriptures that I was reading to you all right now. It just comes to show that God will honor you when you understand what is there. And also, please do not go through this life alone. That goes for myself, because I've seen college really create me as a person who's so self-isolated, who doesn't want to talk to anybody because she's been so hurt. But I am here to encourage anybody, and I will not cry because I've cried so much. But we will find our people. We will find those who will encourage us. We will find those who will accept us for who we are. We will find those who will love on us, who will pray on our behalf, who will provide the tools and the spaces, the encouragement, because we deserve it. We do. And if you're telling yourself you don't believe that, because we deserve everything that comes to us. If it's ordained by God, best believe it's ours. And I wrap this up by saying, start exercising your faith. Start praying on those rooms that you are meant to be in. Stop putting yourself in a corner just because people are trying to sabotage you. Stop putting yourself in a situation that allows you to think that this is not for you, but it is. Even though there might be people who try to stop you or try to block your path because they feel like you didn't do anything. They feel like they had the right to X you out. They had the right to leave you out. But guess what? I'm still here, Boogie. And I'm going to come up in there with my bag, whether it's Telfar, Gucci, Coach, whatever it is. My name is still in that room. And y'all going to be upset, but I don't care. Sometimes I do. I will say that. But it just comes to show that I'm meant for it. And if you don't think so, then watch me. Watch me eat you up. Watch me take your place. And watch me innovate something so great and so grand that you're not even going to comprehend what I just did. Because God instilled something in me that's going to be waiting for you, boo. And can't wait for y'all to see it too. But as I end this episode, I just want to say, I love you. Do not let your dreams be deferred by people that are stupid enough to tell it to your face, but stupid enough to not work with you. Okay? And most importantly, start getting your vision to yourself. And then when it's complete, share it with people, because many people are going to try and sabotage you, as I said previously, and tell people, and even trying to get people to run in your position. Well, guess what? You better run it down to the ground, work 10 times harder, and let them know, I'm still here. Hi. What they say? Hey, how y'all doing? And I have to start exercising this every day because I need to get my confidence up. And that's okay. And I'm still learning. But I hope for anybody who has been facing this knows that we getting somewhere. And that somewhere will be great. And I cannot wait to hear from it. And I would just love to thank you all for joining me on today's conversation. Again, shout out to Kiara. Thank you for today's topic, because I really felt that it needed to be said, and I cannot wait to see what's next for you. And for those who are struggling mentally, physically, or spiritually, please contact 988, which is the mental health hotline. Also, you all have me. My team and I are very committed to making sure that our listeners are okay. And most importantly, I just want to let you know that I love you. I'm not afraid to say it. Although I've said it, I love you. And God loves you more because He created you for a purpose. And if you all have any suggestions for topics, or even would like to be a guest, I have forms open for you all, and I will be putting those in the description box, and most importantly on Instagram. Twitter, all of that, once I get off my little social media break, y'all, because sometimes we need it. And it was much needed for this moment because I want to make sure that I am intimate as possible, especially with God. And most importantly, y'all, I cannot wait to share with you all the guests that I have, because I have some amazing guests. So be on the lookout for the rest of this month and also next month, because it's a Maya miss. Okay? I'm turning 19. But overall, I just want to say thank you all for joining me. As always, trust in God. Let Him be God. And most importantly, take breaks and rest. I love you guys. I will see you guys next time at the Palace. I am your host, the HPIC, the People's Princess, Amaya Kai, signing out. See y'all next time. Bye.